Hi, and welcome to In Loving Memory, honoring those who have lost their lives to COVID-19. My name is Camille Conti. I am the creator of this event and your host, and I am really glad you're here. So if you're watching on Facebook and you can start a watch party, that would be fabulous. We really would appreciate that. And if you, like me, aren't quite sure how to host a watch party, that's okay. You can just click the share button and share this video publicly. You can share it on your personal page, any of the pages or groups that you might have active. And we really appreciate that. Also, at the event page in Loving Memory, there is a YouTube link. So if you know somebody who's not on Facebook and they'd like to tune in, if you haven't had a chance to grab that link and share it with them, you can do that as well. And we really appreciate it. Before I tell you a little bit about tonight's event, I have to thank my tech support angel, Robert Brzezinski, because without Robert's help, this would just be an inspired idea. It's been particularly challenging in the last couple of hours because here in North Jersey, as well as Central and South Jersey, we had a very significant storm yesterday. In some places, hurricane type winds and these mini tornadoes that came down. And so many of us are still without internet. And so we had to work with some of our performers last minute to make sure they were a part of tonight's lineup. And of course, Robert was there to help make it happen. So thank you, Robert. I love you so much, and I appreciate collaborating with you on things like this. Robert's got a phenomenal new project called New Thought Media Network. This link will be posted at the end of the broadcast with everyone else's link, but I want to make sure that you remember it and tune into it because it is all about positivity, uplifting music. It's just a wonderful vision, and we'll be hearing a lot more from that network, that is for sure. So this is actually the second In Loving Memory. I did the first one on May 13th, and at the time, there were 83,000 Americans who had died from complications of this virus. And in 3 weeks' time, I put together a program similar to this one, using song and poetry and prayer and words of wisdom to create ceremony, to create ritual, to create a place and a space where we could come together and just feel this sorrow that we all feel. Even if you have not personally lost a loved one to this virus, we still feel this loss. And on May 13th, we had over 3,000 views. And here we are today going live with just over 160,000 Americans who have died from complications of COVID-19. During the next 60 minutes, hundreds, if not thousands more, will also lose their life to this virus. So we've come together tonight in the name of love to honor our loved ones, to honor those who have died from this virus, to honor the grief and the sorrow that we feel. And also, a little different from the first In Loving Memory, we're here to honor the greater loss that we're all experiencing: loss of our job, loss of our businesses, loss of income, loss of health care, loss of a way of life. COVID, like yesterday's storm, has ripped our lives up from the roots and has brought us to our knees. And so for this hour, I invite you to let go of the data, the headlines, and everything else that tends to surround this discussion. And just bring yourself to this evening's program to be renewed and to be resuscitated. We have an extraordinary lineup of performers tonight. And before we begin, I want to remind you of one other thing that we're doing that's really fantastic. And that is that we are creating a virtual memorial wall. We did this last time, and it was so beautiful because really, these souls deserve to have their names etched in stone, like so many others. So we're creating a virtual memorial wall, which means that right where you are on Facebook or YouTube, tell us about your loved one. If you can, post a picture. Give us their name. Tell us something about them, what makes them special. And throughout the program, we will post some of those comments across the screen so we can share that with everyone. And this virtual wall of remembrance will be a part of this recording. So it will go on for many more months and years to come. Our first performer is, and you're going to hear me say this a lot during our time together tonight. I'm really blessed to call her my friend. I first heard her sing at a spiritual center in North Jersey, and my heart just opened, popped right open, and I'm sure tears fell as my spirit soared. You are really going to love how she sings and what she sings tonight. And I'll let her talk a little bit more about the song choice in just a minute. But she is driven by her creativity. I mean, whether she is painting or drawing or writing or singing. I mean, first and foremost, for me, she is a singer, and she has been influenced by some of the greats. Ella Fitzgerald, Smokey Robinson, James Brown, Al Jarreau, Bill Withers. And she's taken that jazzy style to quite a few venues, to the Lenox Lounge, to Showman's. She's traveled on many cruises up and down the Eastern Seaboard, these wonderful jazz cruises as a performer. And she is currently performing an act that encompasses all of the music that she loves so much. So to begin our program tonight, I'd like to welcome the incredibly talented Tony Hamilton.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's an honor for me to be here, and I am just so grateful to Camille for the work that she's doing, for the fact that she just followed her heart because she wanted to honor all of the people that have passed from COVID. The song that I'm going to do for you is a song that I'm sure you've probably heard before. And for me, most of my life, it was a sad song. But I recently found out that this song has a double meaning. It's a song that was used to know when to move, when to go towards freedom. And so I just hope you enjoy it. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home. Tell all of my friends I'm a coming too, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Thank you, Tony. As beautiful as I've ever heard it sung. That's Tony Hamilton singing that great classic tune. I wanted to make sure we had something for everyone in tonight's lineup of music. And I actually heard that song somewhere recently, and I thought, oh my gosh, that would be a perfect song. And I know exactly the perfect person to sing it. Thank you so much, Tony. So if you're just joining us, welcome to In Loving Memory. This is an hour-long tribute to those who have died from COVID-19. It's also a place for us to come to be together in the name of love as one family and just create a space for our sorrow, our sadness, and our grief, whether we have lost someone personally to this virus or not. We all feel it. I mean, you think about these numbers, 160,000 Americans. When we were doing this in May, the first event, when it was 83,000, I was saying, when I think of numbers that large, it's usually in relationship to a yearly thing. The amount of people perhaps who die from the flu, or the amount of people who are killed in car crashes, or the total number of Americans who have died in any given war. But to lose 160,000 Americans, let alone all of those other souls across this globe, in just less than 6 months, is staggering. And I know I'm not alone in my initial inability to wrap my brain, let alone my heart, around that amount of people, thousands dying every day. It made me feel very helpless, which is why, in part, I wanted to do another one of these programs so that we could come together again, and we'll keep coming together as long as we need to not just honor those who have died, but to honor that this is a national tragedy. This is a global tragedy, because those numbers represent lives, and those lives represent loved ones, and those loved ones matter. That's why if you're watching and you've lost a family member or a friend or a coworker, write their name in the post. Tell us something about them. Help us create this virtual memorial wall, because 160,000 Americans, that represents moms and dads, husbands and wives, aunts and uncles, grandfathers and grandmothers. It represents our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers, our brothers and sisters. And that's why we have gathered here tonight, to honor them. Anytime I do ritual or ceremony, I'm always looking for some really good poetry. And this is another really beautiful story about how I came to find a long lost friend. He and I first crossed paths years ago when I was hosting poetry slams in Anchorage. And at the time, he was underage and didn't have an adult to accompany him into the venue. The Fly-By nightclub in Anchorage, a very famous place, and a very famous owner, Mr. Whitekeys. So Mr. Whitekeys came up with this brilliant idea to give this young man a cordless microphone and had him perform his piece just outside the side door to the venue. And from there, he slammed his poem. And I'm sure he went on to the second round because it was just that good. So since then, when he's not writing, he is a clinical social worker doing big, meaningful work in the world with military families and youth in Hawaii. Along with performing and helping with poetry workshops as well as poetry events, he has self-published 2 collections of poetry. Again, his link will be available at the end of the broadcast if you would like to tap into some of those published works and simply follow him as he continues to create some really meaningful and important pieces of work these days. He says that his experience in life and his experience in work are the great inspirations to the things that he writes. Joining us live from Maui is the extremely talented Joe Francisco.
Oh, thank you, Cece, for that introduction. I appreciate that. And also, I want to just say thank you for inviting me to be a part of this event. It's very special, and I feel honored to do so. And if not, all those years ago, I want to say thank you, too, for looking out for us underage poets. Just now, the passion that you have with the work you've done, and I can tell that you care deeply for others, and which is why I had no problem with doing this. I would say, so tonight I'm going to share a piece. It's called Overnight. It's a new poem, so I'm going to be reading a little bit off the page. Personally, I have not lost a loved one to COVID-19 as of yet at this moment, but recently, as I was doing some training for my clinical social work license and reviewing some continuing education courses, I came across a training that was really important that kind of, I guess, connected with me and allowed me to kind of dig deep to create this piece. And I believe the trainer said that, at this time, even though there's lots of different things going on, we are all grieving some kind of loss in some kind of way, whether it be a loved one or the ability to be able to grieve in our traditional and normal ways if we have lost someone, or our certain ways of life, or even also just being able to meet with family. Like myself, I live out here in Hawaii and my family lives in Louisiana, and traveling right now at that time is just going to be very difficult. So I wanted to find a way to write a piece that was respectful and also honored the memories of those that were lost, and also everyone who's grieving in some type of way, even if you haven't necessarily been personally affected yet by this pandemic, by losing someone that you love. So the title of this piece is called Overnight. The world changed overnight. Remembering the past while living in an unpredictable present can keep us all guessing. Question after question, trying to find a way to reckon with an unbearable truth that we are all grieving in some way. We must take time to reflect in these unprecedented times. The world changed overnight. Now it all seems a bit smaller, even though social distance has become a crucial factor in our existence. For the first time, it is being asked that we all be on the same page. We're all grieving in some way. Mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, those who cannot say their goodbyes in our familiar and traditional ways. Yes, we are all grieving in some way. The world changed overnight, and as we all adjust to the new normal, still not quite sure what that means. For me, it means that I will use these words to cut in between the scenes, pull down the curtains, and remind us that we are all on the same team, humanity, and to remember the ones that remain to carry on. The world changed overnight, but embracing love and the ones who remain to pay their respects is how we will maintain our sanity. We remain selfless in a world that appears to be suffering at the hands of vanity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. It did change overnight. And I really appreciate, Joe, that you chose to write something right now for tonight's event. That was a really courageous and bold move, and it's just a really important and beautiful piece. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you having me.
That's Joe Francisco. Yeah, I was really impressed when Joe said, I'd love to be a part of it, and I'm just going to write something fresh. That's really beautiful. All of these performers tonight, they said yes to the giving of their time and talent. We are all volunteers just coming together tonight to bring to you some soul food. And so I hope that you perhaps feel comforted, perhaps you feel a little less alone, and maybe even by the end of tonight, you'll feel a little lighter and a little more healed. So we had this crazy storm here in New Jersey yesterday, and it was pretty intense. Lots of trees down, lots of power lines down. We don't have internet here. Thank goodness I was able to tap into my phone's hotspot, but unfortunately that was not the case for our next performer. I'm just so thrilled to have him be a part of the lineup, a multi-instrumentalist from the age of 3 when he first started playing the drums. As a teenager, he picked up the guitar, and soon after that, he plugged it in. Then he found his voice and started singing. And most recently, he's been writing songs. In fact, he's in the studio right now doing 2 albums, one with his band and the other a solo album. You can enjoy his live performances every Monday night on his Facebook page. Again, that link available at the end of the program. He is the son of Clarence Clemens, and yet he is carving out his own legacy with his own unique style and his own unique gifts. And I am just so thrilled to share his spirit and his kindness and his sweet heart with you tonight. This is Jared Clemens.
So outside.
And that's okay, because we had to grab video from Jared, and we also grabbed an introduction from him that just happened an hour ago. So I'm going to give Robert a chance to get the introduction so that Jared can set up this beautiful song that he just wrote and explains a little bit about why he wrote it. And then we'll go ahead and restart the video of the song that he recorded a couple of weeks ago, since he couldn't be live with us tonight. At least I think that's what we're able to do. We'll see what Robert is able to pull off in the back room there. In the meantime, if you're just joining us, welcome to In Loving Memory. We are live, which is why a lot of people don't do events like this, because anything can happen. But I love live, and so I hope you're enjoying it as well. We have an hour-long presentation with more performers, a special guest coming up next to talk about grief and loss. And here's Jared.
Jared Clemens, and unfortunately I cannot go live because of power issues that are going on throughout my neighborhood through this whole hurricane and everything. But I wanted to make a video because I'm not able to actually go live and perform this song live for you, unfortunately. So tonight's event is to honor those who have lost their lives to the virus and things like that. And it's personally been a setback for me with performing and recording and jamming with the band and everything like that. So I decided to actually sit down and truly dig deep into my thought process and like truly come up with a song that kind of was talking about holding on and holding tight and staying strong through any situation that you face. But in this case, it's the virus and everything like that. This song is performed and sung for those that have lost their lives to this virus. And we will get through this, and we will be stronger together at the end. So this song's called In the Shadows. Standing in the shadows, this is how the story goes. You wouldn't be slow. Trying to figure out why you're so alone. Oh, and tonight you're trying to find the way to light. So hold tight. The pain you must feel. I know that it's so surreal. I know you can't sleep because the feelings are so deep. And tonight, oh, you're trying to find your way to the light. Oh, so hold tight. So hold tight. So hold tight. So hold tight. You're trying to find the way to the light. So hold tight. So hold tight. You're trying to find your way to the light. So hold tight. So hold tight. Ooh. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Jared. Isn't that just beautiful? Can't you just feel that spirit in him? He is one of the up and coming young musicians from the musical mecca of this state, Asbury Park. Jared, thank you for getting us that video. Thank you for recording your introduction. I'm so sorry you couldn't do it live, but it felt live, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching In Loving Memory. This is a special program, a special tribute to honor those who have lost their lives to COVID-19. Right before we went live, I got a phone call from a dear friend who's in Seattle, and it was an emotional phone call, and I deeply appreciate it because he shared with me that he got COVID. And though he considers himself one of the lucky ones, it's still clearly been a very emotional experience for him. So I appreciate your phone call, Rob, and thank you for tuning in. So our next performer is our special guest, and she too is from Hawaii, and she too just lost power because of the trade winds, but I believe that the power has just come back on, and she's going to be joining us here in a few minutes. This program is proof that nothing really needs to be perfect. You just go where the heart goes. But it was important to me to have someone talk about grief and loss like I did during May's first event. I have great respect for grief. Very much like yesterday's storm, grief can rip you from the roots of your foundation and take you to your knees. And I also wanted to make sure that we had somebody who could acknowledge what grief is all about, to normalize the experience, and to perhaps even offer us some tips that might be helpful in processing our grief and walking with it in a healthy way. So I'm just checking to see if, in fact, Emily is with us yet. And if we don't, okay. So Emily is not yet with us, but we do have our next performers. So I'm seeing on the screen, rest in peace, Chuck Gold, from a friend, Don Fleming. Thank you for participating in this virtual memorial wall. I haven't had a chance to really look down at the screen to see these messages, but thank you for using your Facebook post and your YouTube post to share the name of your friends and your loved ones who have died from COVID. That's what we're here for tonight, to honor them, honor their lives, honor their names, honor the fact that they left behind people who love them and miss them, and to help ourselves hold our tender hearts with the elements of ritual that help us do that: prayer, poetry, song, and words of wisdom. So I'm going to go ahead and switch things around a little bit until we can get Emily back with us and introduce our next musical performers, who are, yes, very dear friends of mine. These are two of the most generous and just two of the most kindest people I really have ever met. In addition to that, they're incredibly talented musicians, songwriters, and singers, and I'm just thrilled that they are here with us today. A husband and wife dynamic duo that's got 3 albums under their musical belt that you can find at iTunes and Spotify and CD Baby. And they have played hundreds of venues from Alaska to Oregon. And that's where they are tonight, live from Portland. Please welcome my very special musical guests, Susan Breakall and Mark Pearson.
Hey, Camille.
Hi, Camille. It's great to see you.
Yeah.
Great.
We miss you. That's along with everybody.
Great to see you.
So whenever Camille asked us to do this, of course, we said yes. We love her. We love everything, every event that we've ever participated in with her. She's always so much fun, so loving, and she really does know how to just take your heart and hold it in the place that it needs to be in. So thank you, Camille, for inviting us and have us be a part of this. So whenever we were thinking about what song that we wanted to sing, we remembered an awesome Eddie Vedder tune called Just Breathe. And not only is it just a gorgeous song, but it is such an honest song. It's an honest song about life, about, all the stages of life. And so that's why we chose this song for tonight. This world and this human experience, it is just so finite. But I know, along with a lot of you, that we believe that at the core of who we really are, it's ever expanding, and that we never really lose each other. But we also know that we really need to take the time, and hopefully we do it often, to tell the ones that we love just how grateful we are to be on this journey together with them. So here is Edgar's song, Just Breathe. One, two,
Yes, I understand that every life must end on. As as we sit alone, I know someday we must go on. Yeah, I'm a lucky man to count on both hands the ones I love. Some folks say I have one, yeah, others they got none. Stay with me.
Stay with me, oh, let's just breathe. Ooh.
Practice all my sins, never gonna let me win on. Under everything, just another human being on. Yeah, I don't wanna hurt. There's so much in this world to make me bleed. Stay with me.
Stay with me, you're all I see.
Did I say that I need you? Oh, did I say that I want you? Oh, if I didn't, I'm a fool, you see. No one knows this more than me. As I come clean, I wonder every day as I look upon your face on. Everything you gave and nothing you would take on. Everything you gave,
take
everything you gave. Did I say that I need you? Oh, did I say that I want you? Oh, if I didn't, I'm a fool, you see. No one knows this more than me. As I come clean out.
Everything you gave.
Hold me till I die. Meet you on the other side. Oh, turn the speaker up. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, dear Camille.
I was wondering if you might be willing to do another song, if you were able to pull something out of your musical hat. So would you? Okay, we're still trying to bring Emily on. And that would be great.
Absolutely. Yes, we'll do one of our original songs called Living on the Edge.
Thank you.
I don't have a pick.
Hold on 1 second.
I gotta find a pick really quick.
This is why live is so great.
Actually, if you can do your thing after a hurricane. Oh, I was going to say, I can play without a pick, but she found one. This is Living on the Edge by Susan.
Living on the edge and starting today. Living on the edge is where I'll make my way. Living on the edge, I can see there's a limitless sky seeking to discover me. I don't know about
feel free. I feel free. Living on the edge, I can't feel the past. Looking ahead and believing my faith will last. Living on the edge, I can know if I stretch out my mind, this life is gonna grow. I don't know back and I won't wait, because living on the edge, I am free. I am free. I am free. Let your light burst into form like you wanted to, like you see it in your dreams. Let your light burst into form like you wanted to, then see it all around. Let your light burst into form like you wanted to. Well, living on the edge, starting today. Living on the edge is where we'll make our way. Living on the edge, I can see there's a limitless sky, seeking to discover. I don't know back and I won't wait, because living on the edge.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Susan Brakell and Mark Pearson pulling two out of the hat tonight. Thank you, guys.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Technical difficulties and all, we really appreciate your patience if you're watching. Between hurricanes here in New Jersey and trade winds in Hawaii, it's been a little bit of a technical challenge, but our special guest is here, and I would like to introduce her before she shares her words of wisdom tonight. And I want to thank my friend Rachel Hollander for connecting me with Emily, because I always like to find some sort of grief expert that can talk to us about the feelings of grief and loss. So she's got two books. One is called 52 Weeks, a self-care guide through the first year of grief. And the new one that's coming out, Loving and Living Your Way Through Grief. And again, Emily will have her links at the end of the broadcast as well. She is a grief transformation expert and helps others work with their grief through various writing circles, including a few Facebook groups as well. So I'm just really thrilled to have her with us this evening to share her words of wisdom. I want to welcome from Hawaii, Emily Thoreau-Threat. Good to see you, Emily.
Nice to see you. I'm glad that we finally got everything worked out.
Indeed.
I am so grateful to be here today, and I'm also from Maui. What a coincidence that two of your speakers are here from Maui. I was sitting outside, absolutely beautiful view for you to see, and the trade winds kicked up, and there went my internet. So we got that all fixed, and I'm back now. As Camille said, I am a grief transformation expert, and it's not something that I think most of us would like to be. It's come to me through being having many experiences with loss myself on many levels, and the four biggest ones I think were my parents, and then two husbands who died. One of them, Ron, just died 3 years ago yesterday. So, and I'm also a writer. I have taught writing at the university level for many years and written college textbooks on writing. And it's one book that I have coming out. The 52 Weeks was the initial name, but the publisher changed it to Loving and Living Your Way Through Grief. And because of everything that's happened with COVID, it's been taking longer to get out than we thought it would. And right now you can pre-order it on Amazon, and it's supposed to come out in January. And I wrote that book to help me deal with my grief after Ron died 3 years ago. Actually, right after he died, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I'd been spending all my time taking care of him and being with him and living in the moment with him. It was really a wonderful opportunity. He was a magnificent man, religious science minister, and beautiful heart, and everybody loved him. He was a really special person. And I kept, after he was gone, and I was just sitting here. I'd only been in Maui for 2 years and didn't really know a lot of people yet. And he'd lived here before and wanted to come back since he knew the situation he was in. So that's what we did. So I decided to start dealing with it by writing. And I wrote in my journal, and I kept saying, okay, what am I supposed to do now in my journal, and asking in my journal and meditating every day, and stating my affirmations, anything that I could do to help me kind of focus and figure out what I was supposed to be doing. And then a few months after his death, his very good friend, Chappie, just dropped dead without anybody anticipating that at all. And he was about 20 years younger than Ron. So it was a real shock. And on the mainland, we'd been close friends with Chap and his wife, and Lori, and they lived close by to us. And I thought, oh, Lori is not going to have any idea what to do or what to think about or what's important or what's not. So I sat down and wrote her a letter. And I poured out in that letter everything that I knew that she needed to know right then. And what would she, things that she didn't need to be worried about or not be concerned about. And she had let me know that that letter meant so much to her and helped her so much. I thought, I've got to do more. And I remembered recently when a friend of mine was going through treatment for breast cancer, that while she was going through all the therapies, that I had been writing her every week something, sending her something. And I thought, I'm going to send something to Lori every week. So I sat down and started writing what I would write inside these notes. And in about a day and a half, I had written 52 different notes. And so I said, well, I'm supposed to send her a message every week. So I did. And in the process of doing that, I realized that I had an outline for a book. Having written books before, it seemed all I had to do was fill in the blanks. So fortunately, I was able to get an agent, and it's in the process of being published now. And in doing this, I thought, I need to help other people with dealing with this, and writing helped me so much. I want to show other people how writing can help them. And right now, we're in a different situation than we've ever been before in our lifetimes. And we're not only dealing with, as I was, loss of loved ones, but right now we're dealing with all different kinds of loss, coming from COVID-19, the disease itself, but also from the ramifications like losing your income, losing your home, losing your job, not being able to be with loved ones. We're all dealing with loss, and that's got us all kind of on the edge. And we can help each other and help ourselves by writing. Writing can really, really help you. One of the best things that you can do for your loved ones, the people that you've known that have died from COVID, but not only those who have died. I haven't personally known somebody that has died from COVID, but I've worked with quite a few people who have somebody close to them who've died. And I actually have known quite a few people who have had COVID and come out on the other side of it. I don't know of any of my friends right now that are suffering from it at this moment. They're through the bad part anyway. It's supposed to have lifelong ramifications. But at this moment, they're okay. But the stories that they have told are hard stories. And with this not being able to like visit people in the hospital, not being able to be in touch with people, it's more critical than ever to be in touch with who you can be with and to take care of yourself. And again, doing that with writing. There's different ways that you can do this. Writing can help you deal with your loneliness by writing about what your experiences are, what your thoughts are. but a real beautiful way to write in memory of your loved ones who have suffered from COVID is to write about them, to record all your beautiful memories about them. What did you love about them? What were your best times that you spent with them? What did they do that was a spark for you that made you light up in addition to making them light up? Writing these things down can help you so much personally in writing them, but you can also share what you're writing with their loved ones. And it feels so good when somebody will talk to you about your loved one, when a loved one has died. That's something that people just generally don't do. After the funeral's over, people kind of disperse and you don't get to stay in touch with them a lot because they just don't know what to say to you. So this is a way that you can stay in touch, and you can tell somebody, a loved one of someone who's died from COVID, this is a memory that I have of your loved one that was so special to me, and I just wanted to their heart so deeply. I can't tell you how good it feels to me when somebody actually mentions Ron or Jacques, my two husbands, by name and says something wonderful that they remember about him. It really helps to put the focus on all the good and the joy and the love in their life instead of on the tragedy of the death, the unfairness of what's going on that we're all experiencing right now with COVID. There's nothing fair about any of this. Fair is just a four-letter word that starts with F. Is all I can say about it. It just can't be fair. You have to be considering what's in the moment for you right now. And that's what's helped me too. And through my writing, I have found in the moment the love that exists right then. Even if it's love for someone who's not here with me physically now, I just operate on love. I live my life on love. And I also live very much in the moment. It doesn't do me any good to say, oh, I so wish Ron was here holding my hand through this situation right now. That doesn't serve a purpose. But you can remember when Ron was here with me holding my hand as we went through something tough, and remember the comfort that brought. And writing down that really helps. And one of my favorite things to do is to write to them. For instance, yesterday, since it was the 3rd anniversary of Ron's death, I wrote him a big, long letter. I told him everything that I was thinking about that we were dealing with right now, and wondering what it would be, how he would react to it, what he would say. And when I finished the letter and signed it to him in my journal, I started writing another letter right then. And that letter was from him to me. And depending on your belief system, that could be coming from him directly, or it could be coming from what you know about him and your love and your relationship. But he wrote me the most beautiful letter back that really helped me put things in perspective, reminded me of my love for him, reminded me of our wonderful relationship, reminded me of the importance of living in the moment now, because this present moment, is the only one we've got. So these are the ways that you can help take care of yourself and take care of your friends that are dealing with situations related to COVID. Take care of loss on any level is to focus on the beauty and love of your life, focus on the moment, focus on the special memories, and share these things with people that you love. And I know I'm probably over time because it was supposed to be an hour, so I don't want to talk too much. But
No, I just wanted to come on because what you're saying about writing is so relevant because we have this virtual memorial wall.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what you're talking about, is to write their names down, tell us something special about them, keep their memory alive through the power of writing. And I love that even though it's been 3 years, you still feel comfortable and you still give yourself permission to write that letter to your husband. So that's a really, really helpful practice that I appreciate you sharing with us, because for so many people, the loss of a loved one to COVID is happening very fast. And as you
Mhm.
mentioned, we have lost the rituals that we rely on, being with them in the hospital, being with them in their last moments, and to have all of that taken away has been really traumatic for people. So they need these types of suggestions to help bridge the gap between
Mhm.
what they used to be able to do and what they couldn't do. So thank you so much, Emily. That's really, really beautiful.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. I'm so happy I was able to get it all worked out and actually be with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's Emily Thoreau Threat, and I look forward to her new book coming up in January. Part of any ritual or ceremony that I've ever been a part of always includes prayer. It's another way in which we use the power of the spoken word. And I knew immediately who it was that I wanted to invite to do the prayer for hope and healing tonight. And that is my dear friend and my own prayer partner, Kaleem Nuruddin, who joins us from Anchorage, Alaska today. Kaleem is a spiritual living practitioner for 25 years now. In fact, his anniversary is this month. He is trained for spiritual counseling. He is a phenomenal inspirational speaker. He did service work at the World Ministry of Prayer, where he took over 1,000 phone calls and prayed for over 1,000 people. The other reason why I wanted Kaleem to be on with us today as we come to a close is because of Kaleem's consciousness, which always inspires me and always stretches me a little bit. A consciousness that is steeped in oneness, a consciousness that is dedicated and devoted to the oneness of all life and all paths. And so it is just with deep love and honor that I welcome to the program tonight to do our prayer for hope and healing. And Kaleem's link will also be posted at the end of the broadcast if you would like to seek him out for personal prayer support or spiritual counseling. So be sure to wait through the end to see that. Kaleem Nuruddin.
Okay. Thank you, Camille. And as the preceding presenters, I want to continue to honor and appreciate you all being open and allowing this beautiful event to flow through you with the high intentions of we as one humanity walking this path and this experience together. And I also want to honor the fact that we have the blessings and the gifts of all the different talents and skills, whether it's been the spoken word, the music and the songs, as well as the succinct advice that Emily just shared with us, things that we can do to support each other as we move through this very interesting experience we're all having. And it's truly a pandemic experience as well as a historic experience for most of us. So my intention also as a prayer practitioner, number one, I want to honor all of our faith traditions, and even those of us who have chosen not to even identify with any particular faith tradition, but simply identify as being oneness with all of humanity, whether it's for our rational thoughts or our particular philosophy or our cosmological belief system. I'm going to read a short reading from excerpts from the World Healing Meditation, which is produced by John Price and the Quartz Foundation, which often has for more than 3 decades have sponsored the World Healing Meditation that we do on January 31st of each year. And then I will spontaneously just move from the reading into a prayer. So I would like to invite you this time just to imagine that we're in the room together, in a sanctuary together, or in our living room together, whatever may be appropriate and traditional for you. And that you were in with our personal friends and acquaintances. And when I use the word I like to just to identify that. That's because I identify that one I that I am is the one I that we all are. We are truly one. So I'm just going to invite you to take a couple moments to bring to mind your particular philosophy, your faith tradition. Just take a few moments in silence. Then I simply like to quote from this reading that I love you because you are me. I open my heart and let the essence of unconditional love pour out. Where there was darkness, let it be the light of oneness. Where there's a sense of separation, let it be dissolved into light. And where there is human identification as separation, let us turn to infinite or godly identification as our one creator and our sustainer. And let peace come forth in each one of our minds and our hearts and our souls, and let love flow from every heart, and forgiveness reign in every soul, understanding our common bond as one humanity. So I simply speak this word in recognizing our one humanity, recognizing that one infinite presence, by whatever name we choose to call it, but it's this one creator that is our divine creator and parent of us all. And I simply continue to speak this word in recognizing that we are one human family, spiritual expressions of the one loving being. And I pray this prayer of peace upon every family and individual who may have experienced a loving family member or friend or acquaintance who have made their transition because of this COVID pandemic and other situations that may be going on in our personal lives. For I know in addition to us experiencing this global experience that's bringing a sense of oneness to us, I also want to continue to recognize and pray the prayer of peace for our individual personal experiences. And I pray this prayer of that there may be peace. And I speak this word of comfort, for I believe and speak this word, there is a comforter of divine presence. In the middle of our storm, there is that divine presence. And I speak this word of affirmation, knowing that as we bend in this wind of challenges, we also become right again in our path of uprightness. For above every stormy cloud, the sun still shines. And I pray this prayer of peace and sunshine into each one of our lives, whether it's personally or related through acquaintances, but I know that we're all related as one human beings. And what happens to one happens to us all. And for this, I simply pray peace and comfort. And knowing that in the evening, in the darkest moment, there is the expectation and anticipation of the light and the morning sun. And for this, I am so thankful that it is so, for the one and for us all. So we now release this prayer into the loving arms of a loving presence that is always present in every moment, in every experience. And so it is now with us and all concerns. Release and let go, knowing that it is so. Amen. Namaste.
Here I am, my child. Take my hand, here I am, my child. There's no worry anymore, you've made it home. Only peace is left in store, you've made it home, made it home, made it home. Ooh. Here I come, Here I come, my child, on the run. Here I come, my child. There's no pain in all the world. You've made it home. Brilliant gold and priceless pearls. You've made it home. Made it home. Made it home. Won't you stay forever? Forever. Together there's nothing that we won't do. Comes the time to sleep. Comes the time to sleep. There's no worry anymore. You've made it home. Only peace is left in store. You've made it home. Made it home. Made it home. Made it home. You know what? I'd like to share one more song with you if I could. I wasn't actually planning on singing. Nice to see you all. My name is Daniel Namad. Thank you, Camille, for the invitation. Thank you, Robert, for coordinating it and doing the technological side. I'm here in my downstairs music room in my our home in Orange County, where I live with my wife and little boy, Jude. And we are, of course, going through all sorts of things as a family, as individuals. Jude not starting school next week, and my professional life, at least as I've known it, more or less completely on hold since the first week of March. I've been a traveling singer-songwriter for 20 plus years, and that all stopped summarily as work did for so many. I can't help but be grateful for so many things. This room, for example, my wife upstairs reading her Kindle, for example, our boy healthy and doing okay under the circumstances. So there, and our health in general, we are very, very fortunate. And that doesn't mean that we don't think often of those around the country and around the world for whom this virus and this epidemic have meant, in some cases, true deprivation and hardship, in some cases, terrifying and crippling illness, and in some cases, death and loss. And I have a song that was kind of suggested by that beautiful prayer just before I came on here, which I'd like to share with you. It's a relatively recent song, and I like to say one of the more hopeful songs I've written in a while. And you know what? It comes to mind today
for multiple reasons. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for having me today. And for all of you watching, I wish you peace of mind and a good night's sleep, and the kind of patience that none of us could reasonably be expected to feel during such a strange and stressful time. But patience and peace of mind are available and are powerful in the context of so much fear and so much uncertainty. So with that in mind and with that said, I wish you the best. And here's one more song for you. For every hill, there is a valley. For every winter, the promise of spring. For your heartache, there will be healing, though it's not easy remembering. For every tear, there's comfort, I promise. For every midnight, the deep breath of dawn. But in the darkness, no one can blame us for wondering how everything went so wrong. For wondering when the lights will come back on. What if the sky is always blue, just beyond the clouds? What if the only thing to do is live this life out loud? 'Cause it's gonna hurt sometimes, no matter what we do. Never mind the doubts, it's just beyond our view. I believe the sky is always blue. Here we go again. The headlines are screaming fear and division, diminished returns. But even in these dark days, let's keep on believing that the sun still brightly burns. Well, maybe that's what we are here to learn. What if the sky is always blue, just beyond the clouds? If this is only an illusion, we can live this life right now. 'Cause it's gonna hurt sometimes, no matter what we do. Never mind the doubts, it's just beyond our view. I believe the sky is always blue. Sometimes, though we might know the truth, never mind the doubts. Forget about those clouds. just beyond our view. I believe the sky is always
Thank you, Daniel.
Welcome. You're
Singer, songwriter, producer, humanitarian, incredibly talented singer-songwriter, Daniel Namad. So, I know I'm not the only one crying, and that's okay. It's just what happens when the heart opens wide. And that's what tonight's event was really all about. So I want to thank all of my wonderful performers for saying yes. And I hope that even through the technological challenges, you have felt the heart of this event and have felt the heart of all the performers. I know you have. Thank you to Tony and Joe, Susan and Mark, Emily, Kaleem, and of course, Danielle. And thank you to Robert for being in the back room there, taking care of all of the technical issues tonight and putting everybody's beautiful comments up on the screen. It's wonderful to see what other people are experiencing tonight. So, thank you. Take good care of yourself and be gentle with yourself. And it seems like perhaps we might do this again in the fall. We'll just see how it all unfolds. But until then, thank you for joining us. This has been In Loving Memory. After we officially close, there'll be the links to all the performers in case you want to follow them, purchase some of their products, and just thank them for their gift this evening. Thank you for your gift. And my heart goes out to everyone. Peace be with you. Thank you and good night.